family affair in the race for provisional pole.
It was a case of which Richards would be fastest at Mount Panorama today. Stephen Richards was fastest in the morning session, surprising the works teams by posting a time of 2 minutes 18.46 in his privateer Nissan. While the young expatriate Australian was enjoying the attention of being the fastest man on the mountain, it was going to be his father, 5 times race winner Jim Richards, who would burst his bubble in the afternoon session. Gentleman Jim took the works Volvo around in a time of 2 minutes 18.354 to take away the provisional pole from his talented son. Richards Sr.'s first race at Mount Panorama was way back in 1974, before his son was even born. But despite his age, the former Kiwi showed he was still on the pace. The Holden Vectras of Derek Warwick and Greg Murphy were 3rd and 4th fastest, just ahead of the Audis of Brad Jones and Paul Morris. The diversity of the 43-car field at this year's AMP Bathurst 1000 has brought renewed interest in the race. In today's qualifying sessions, there were 7 different makes of car in the top 10, and the top 6 were separated by just over a second. The crews face another 2 sessions of qualifying tomorrow before the final top 10 runoff on Saturday and the race starting at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. John Thompson, SBS Sport.
Experience shone through. Jim Richards, the fastest in the afternoon.
A busy morning in the pits as things began to heat up for the opening qualifying session. And again, the name of Richards was on top, but this time it wasn't Jim. Son Stephen set the pace in his Nissan.
Although it's the first session, I think everyone's having a fair shake at it, and there's plenty more to come.
If you're going to have anyone faster than you, I think I'd rather have it been Sue.
But Dad did have the final say. Jim Richards, one of the few to avoid the traffic on the mountain in the afternoon, clocking a low 2 minutes 18 to put the Volvo ahead.
I'm driving some quick runs tomorrow, so I'm sure that we can get into the 16s or something.
Also in contention for the top 10, the Searle brothers from Newcastle. But even if they qualify for the shootout, they'll sit it out because religious beliefs don't permit them to race on a Saturday.
It's something I stand by and I won't go back on that. Well, Saturday's only 1 lap, isn't it? Sunday's 160 laps, so I'd rather be out there on Sunday than Saturday.
One of 2 women in the race, Jenny Thompson, is hoping just to finish, ending an incredible run of bad luck. Bonnets, wheels and accidents have all been a problem for the team over the last year.
It could very well be a male conspiracy, but I think, that's what, 1, 2, 3 things that have gone wrong, so I think, we can only go forwards from here.
Paul Gregg, 7 Nightly News.
Panorama as the countdown continues to Sunday's Bathurst 1000 2-litre touring car race. Jimmy Richards in a Volvo must have thought he had provisional pole position sewn up this afternoon, but that was until Greg Murphy threw down the gauntlet in the Vectra. A new lap record of 2 minutes 16.4 seconds. Jimmy Richards was 2nd fastest, with son Steve 3rd quickest.
And you can see the Crows Club champion Bathurst 1000. As John Thompson reports, Greg Murphy's Holden Vectra sizzled around the Mount Panorama circuit ahead of the father and son combination of Jim and Stephen Richards.
It was a day of intense competition on the final day of qualifying as the leading teams jostled for positions on the challenging Mount Panorama circuit. Stephen Richards in his privateer Nissan laid down the gauntlet to his father Jim Richards in the works Volvo, grabbing fastest in the morning session as the battle of the father and son continued, as it had done for the past 3 days. It was shaping as a Richards family affair on the front row of the grid for the AMP Bathurst 1000, but Greg Murphy and Russell Ingle in the Holden Vectra came through to burst the Richards bubble. With just a few minutes to go in the session, Greg Murphy took the Holden Vectra out onto the track and blasted around the circuit in a time of 2 minutes 16.4 to grab the fastest and the advantage of starting last in the top 10 runoff for pole position tomorrow morning. Murphy's time was challenged by the Volvo team, Richards' co-driver Rickard Rydell posting a time just 1/10 slower than the Holden, while Stephen Richards grabbed 3rd fastest, another 4/10 behind. The hot weather continued, but that didn't seem to affect the top runners, who don't appear too concerned about pole position, worrying more about setting the cars up for the 161-lap race on Sunday.
Yeah, we've still got a top 10 shootout to go, and for this 161 laps, 1,000 Ks, no, I don't really think it's overly important. It's always nice to have as a race driver, but I don't think it's going to win the race necessarily.
Trouble again for the Aitken Suzuki, crashing at the top of the mountain after being repaired following its crash on Wednesday. The Bingle almost certainly ruling them out of the 42-car field for Sunday's race. John Thompson, SBS Sport.